In this video, we're going to look at some syntax that is useful in Stata. You'll encounter very much more as you continue to learn and advance in Stata, but we'll give you a little bit just to get you started. Syntax is basically just a set of rules, a bit like grammar, for how you construct sentences so that the meaning is understood between you and whoever or whatever software is receiving the instruction. So we have to follow the syntax, otherwise we may not be understood by Stata, or we might be understood in the wrong way. Now here's a little table to show you the basic syntax that we're going to learn about during this slideshow. I've listed here if, and. There's a vertical line which stands for or. That means or, either or. And there's an exclamation mark, which means not. So the exclamation mark is not, the vertical line is or, the ampersand means and. You mustn't type and, they won't understand. And if has got the same meaning as it has usually in English. I've used the data set for COVID, and I'm using the command sum, which you're now familiar with. And the variables in the COVID dataset that I'm using to demonstrate are active. That's the number of active cases each day. Lockdown indicates whether that day was part of the lockdown or not. Time, which indicates the number of days since the first case was reported. All the rest in these statements here that you find is what you might call syntax. This first command says sum active if lockdown equals 1. Notice the double equal sign. In Stata, you usually have to use a double equal sign, otherwise Stata won't understand. You're going to meet one of the exceptions later on. So this basically means summarize the active daily cases during the lockdown up to the present day. Of course, the lockdown is not yet over at the time that this video was made. The next one is sum active if time is less than 30. So this will summarize the active cases per day for all the days from 1 through to 29 inclusive. It won't include 30 or days beyond 30. The next one is sum active if lockdown equals 1 and time is less than or equal to. See that device? Less than or equal to 40. So it will only go up to day 39. No, it will go up to day 40 because also it can be equal to 40. So it will include everything before day 41, except that it will only include them if they were part of the lockdown. So this command will give you the average active cases during the lockdown up to and including day 40. The next command makes use of the vertical line for or. We see here sum active if time is less than 20 or time is greater than 30. So this will include all the observations from day 31 onwards and from day 1 to day 19. And it will average those cases, but it will leave out cases on days 20 through to day 30. Finally, sum active if time is not equal to 40. That's the exclamation mark. This will average or summarize all the cases that are available except on day 40. It will leave day 40's observation out. Right, now let's go on and I will demonstrate these to you using the data set. So here I'm just going to demonstrate some of that syntax. You'll see that I have prepared a do file. Here they are. I've typed each of those 5 commands into a do file to save a bit of time, and I'm going to run them one by one. You'll see that I've got the data set for COVID-19 loaded. Here's the variable active, and up here you can see the variable for lockdown. So I'm going to put the do file a little bit out of the way here so that it doesn't get in the way. Let's select the first command and then run it. And there we have the mean, the standard deviation, minimum and maximum for the variable active, but only for the period during the lockdown. Now let's look at the next one. This is only for time less than 30. You'll see there were 29 days less than 30, not surprisingly, since we started at 1. And there is the mean. It's very different. And again, the minimum and maxima are different, as is the standard deviation. Here we've got the third command. I'm going to run it. You could, of course, just type these into the command bar. And this is for lockdown equals 1 and time greater than 30. So it's ignoring those lockdown days up to and including day 29. And again, we've got different numbers appearing here. Next, I'm going to run this command, do. And here we've got the active cases if time is less than 20 or if it's greater than 30. And it so happens that in my data set, we only have 36 such observations at the moment because we are only on day 48, I think. And this will give you the mean, standard deviation, and so on for those 36 observations. Finally, we're going to look at all the observations except for day 40. So not equals to 40. We want that one left out. And there we are, 46. So obviously we must be on day 47 at the moment because after taking day 40 away, there are only 46 observations. So that's just to demonstrate for you how these commands work in Stata and what the output will look like.